When I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of death metal, and Death was probably my favorite band. And I don't listen to them anymore. And I don't agree with the lyrics. In case you didn't quite catch it, he was saying abortion when it is needed. And I don't believe it's ever needed. And I want to give you some reasons why. In Job 31, it says, "Did not he that made me in the womb make him? And did not one fashion us in the womb?" In Psalm 139, "For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret." And in my opinion, this establishes the fact that we are made in our mother's womb. And I believe that mothers are the most underappreciated people in the world, and that women are the most overappreciated people in the world. And what I mean by that is that it seems to me in today's world, women strive to become leaders and strive to become their own person. And when they should strive to be mothers, and they should strive to be wives. And in Luke 23, let me read this for you. "And there followed him a great company of people," talking about Jesus, "and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. And Jesus, turning unto them, said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bare, and the paps which never gave suck." Now, to me, this is going on today. This is not how it's always been. Today, we see that teenagers are given contraceptives, and they're being encouraged to wait until they're 20 or even 30 years old before they start having children. And when somebody does get pregnant, in particular when somebody's a teenager and they get pregnant, it seems like there's too many people that think, oh no, they think, oh, what a terrible thing, this 15-year-old girl's pregnant, what an awful thing, and what should be the opposite. I don't care if she's 14, 13, 12. If she's pregnant, that should be a wonderful thing. Absolutely wonderful thing for a young lady to become a mother. I think that's as great as it gets, really. I think of the greatest people in my life, and right at the top is my mom. And I can't. I miss her, obviously. I miss her every day, and I think the world of her. And there's nothing in the world like mom. And I don't care how old my mom was when she had me. She's still my mom. And I think, like I said, I think mothers are underappreciated. And but you notice that here it says that he says, "Weep for yourselves," talking about the women, "and weep for your children." And I think this is important to understand, because in John 3, Jesus talking to Nicodemus, excuse me, Jesus answered and said unto him, "Verily, verily, I said unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." And Nicodemus says, "How can a man be born when he's old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?" Jesus answered, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit." So he establishes that we must be born of the Spirit of God. Now, what makes abortion so terrible is not just because it's murder or thou shalt not kill and you're killing a child. You're denying them the same opportunity that you have of being born again and receiving everlasting life. I know people get awfully emotional about it, and it is an emotional subject. There is no question about it. In particular, for I think for some women, I think women are generally more sensitive, anyways. But I've talked to women privately who came to me privately and told me how they had an abortion when they were younger, and they live with that regret for the rest of their lives. I think it's a terrible thing because when you're 14 or 15, you think that your doctors and adults are giving you good advice, and then you go and have an abortion, and then you realize you're living with the rest of your life with this regret that you killed your child. It's a terrible thing, and it's the sort of thing that when you're talking to people about it, you need to wear kid gloves. You don't want to condemn anybody. You want to help them. We've all made mistakes. We've all, done terrible things. I know I have, but in the case of having an abortion, what young people aren't told is that they're going to live with that regret for the rest of their life. And I think, in my opinion, just understanding that, you made a mistake, and you got to forgive yourself for it. That's all you can do. And maybe talk to other people and help them make better decisions than what you made. I mean, that's all I can do for the sins of my past. I have a lot of regrets that I wish I'd never done, but all I can do is try to help people in similar situations to not make the same mistakes that I made. Life is a learning experience, and it's wrong. Sometimes you don't know right from wrong so much as when you're younger as you do when you get older. But the argument that people will make against what I believe is, some people say all babies are going to heaven. Well, if all babies are going to heaven, then we ought to be killing every single baby. If you have a child right now, go kill your child, because all you're going to do is expose them to hell, to where if you kill them now, they're going to go to heaven. If that was the case, I'd be killing everybody, right? But that's not the case. And I would sacrifice my life of eternity in hell if I knew that by killing 1,000 people that they'd all be going to heaven. Okay, so this argument that abortion is okay, people will point to 2 Samuel 12, when David, he fasts and he prays while his child is dying, and then when the child dies, he stops fasting and praying. And his servants ask him about it, and David said, "While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me." Now this is talking about his child is going into the grave. Just as Hebrews 9 says, "And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment." So David, knowing this full well, knew he was going to die, and knew he was going to go to the grave where his child was, and that his child wasn't going to come back to him. And I know people want to try to make the argument, well, that means this verse here means that his child went to heaven. Well, that's not what it says at all. It's not implied at all, and it's just it's a fact that we're all appointed at a time to die. His child died, and it was appointed for a time for David to die, and he did die and go to the grave, and that's when he was with his child. And but anyways, I bring this up because I just want to make the point that we should take care of our children. There's nothing more precious, really, in this world than the children, whether it's your own child, somebody else's child. That we should look after them and take special care of them, so that they might have that opportunity for everlasting life, that same opportunity that you've been given. Thanks for watching.